Welcome back to Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition. We're playing with Mandy Thompson and Ashcan Pete, and they're in trouble. They're in a dark barn at the moment. They have a Bayaki in the same space with Mandy attacking. We have a fire blazing out of control, and things are not looking too good. We have something down here, which I suspect is the hill, since we're playing cult of Sentinel Hill, and there's a cult, of course, trying to gate in some evil big bad thing. And so let's begin. So up first, we have to decide which of our two characters we'd like to have start. And I think we're going to start with Ashcan Pete over here. And he's going to start by moving. And so he's going to move 2 spaces into the same area with the Bayaki. And then he is going to use his pickaxe to try and attack the Bayaki and see if he can take it out. And so let's go to the monster, and we're going to attack the Bayaki. Of course, that was a heavy weapon, so let's see. Attack with a heavy weapon. Creature knocks you prone, but you keep your grip on your weapon. And now you have a clear shot at its softer underbelly. So you have to... he's got to check strength, and he needs 2 successes. Well, Ashcan Pete's strength is pretty good. He's got 4, so he's going to be rolling 4 dice, and I don't think he has anything extra to help him. No, he doesn't. So he's just going to be rolling 4 dice, and we're looking for 2 successes. He does not have any clue tokens either. So 2 successes. Oh, he gets 1. Which is not good enough. So we're going to, if you fail, you're not able to maneuver the awkward weapon from your position. So on the ground, he wasn't able to wield the pickaxe, and that's going to end his attack. All right, up next, we're going to have Mandy go, and I kind of wanted her to do something other than fight the Bayaki, but I think she's going to have to do it. So when we come back, I'm going to zoom in a bit. We're going to have Mandy. She has a 45 automatic, so it's probably what she's going to use. All right, so Mandy here pulls out her 45, and she will be shooting at the Bayaki. So once again, we're going to be attacking again, this time with a firearm. It says, as you fire, your shots seem to barely phase the creature. You search for any vulnerability that you can exploit. So she needs to have 2 successes with observation. And I believe her observation is pretty darn good. She has observation of 5, so she's going to be rolling 5 dice. And that is a pretty excellent trait for her to be rolling against. And she also has 6 clue tokens, so she needs 2 successes. Come on, let's get some successes for Mandy. Well, she gets 1 success, but she's going to convert that clue token to a success, and she can do it now because Ashcan has a light source. He has the torch with him, so we're now able to start spending clue tokens again to convert these. So she does get her 2 successes. What does that do for us? If you pass, you seem to find such a spot, and finally your shots begin to register. The monster suffers damage equal to the weapon's damage. All right. That is an excellent way to begin because her 45 automatics do 4 damage. So she's going to be doing 4 damage to Bayaki. Bayaki has 5 hit points. However, that was her first action. Her second action, yep, she's going to attack it again. So she's going to fire at it again. For her second action, it says, as you aim at the beast, its otherworldly gaze catches your eyes, and the terrible reality of the alien presence threatens to overwhelm you. This time, she needs to use her willpower, and she has nothing that's going to bother her for willpower. Her willpower is 3, so she's going to be rolling 3 dice. Again, she has all these clue tokens. And of course, she's wounded, which says you cannot perform the move action more than once each turn, but she can fight twice in a turn. So she's going to fire again. She's going to check her willpower. She's going to be rolling 3 dice. Come on, I got to get some better rolls. And she needs 2 successes on 3 dice. Not the greatest of odds. And she doesn't do it. She only gets 1 success. If you fail, you freeze. Any chance of action lost on the unutterable horror of that accursed gaze. So that sucked. We were 1 hit point away from killing the creature, and there's not much we can do about it. And that, I think, is going to end our investigator phase. Ashcan moved up, failed with his pickaxe. Mandy had a good first shot with her revolver, and the second one she froze from the horrible creature's gaze. Now we're into the mythos phase, and yeah, I have a funny feeling. The fire spreads out of control. Place a fire in a space adjacent to a space already containing fire. So our fire is blazing madly out of control. We have a clue token here. I think we're going to put the fire right here. It's adjacent to a place of fire. So our fire, we get a fire wall now, separating us off. That's not the end of it, though, because the Bayaki goes. It says your hand suddenly begins to burn. Ooh. This mythos event affects the investigator who has a light source with the lowest observation. Well, the only person with a light source is Ashcan Pete. So his hand begins to burn. He has 5 damage of a possible 7, 3 horror hits of a possible 7. So he's not doing well. So this is going to affect Ashcan. Resolve the effect. The fire from your light has spread to your hand. You instinctively drop what you're holding and clutch your wounded hand. Oh, come on. Suffer 2 face-down damage and drop 1 random light source. Before you realize it, the fire has spread all around you. Place fire in your space and each adjacent space. Oh yeah, so this is a real barn burner, this episode. Oh my god, you have got to be kidding me. Alright, well, so he drops his torch. So he's going to suffer 2 face down damage. He has 7 or 5. That's going to take him to 7. So luckily all his other damage was face down, so it's all going away. Oh my god, that is just brutal. He's going to suffer 2 more face down, which I'm going to just discard over here. He also now is going to be wounded. So now both Ashcan and Mandy are both wounded. That's really terrible. That limits our movement a lot. I don't see us succeeding at this mission very well. You cannot perform the move action more than once. So they can only move once now, both of them, each round. Wow, that's pretty terrible. And so he drops, so he's going to drop his light source here. And we're going to get fire in this space and every adjacent space. Is that what it says? Fire in your space and each adjacent space. Oh my god. Do I have enough tokens to do this? I don't know. Alright, so we're going to get a fire right here in the barn. The good thing is the Bayaki is going to take a damage from the fire. And I think it's going to take the damage. I'm not sure when it's going to take the damage. I'm going to have to check the timing on that. A fire in this space. A fire in this space. Oh my god. A fire here. This barn is basically burning down around us, which probably is going to spell the end of our investigators. So that's where all of the fire has spread to. So now we have fire in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 9 spaces on fire. Oh my word. Okay, continue. And I'm going to have to just check the rule right now, because basically it's the Bayaki's turn, but it is now in a space with fire. So does it take the 1 damage right now and die? Or does it get to do its attack and then take the damage? Let me just check the rules and come right back. All right, checked it in the rules reference. Whenever a monster starts its activation in a space with fire, it takes 1 damage. The Bayaki has 4 damage from the bullet hole that Mandy gave it. It's going to take 1 more at the start right now for 5, and it is burned to death. So it dies in a fire. That's a good way for it to go. However, Ashcan and Mandy are now in a world of problems because they have a fire now blazing in the barn and all over the place. And that's going to conclude, that concludes the Mythos phase. So we're now back to the investigator phase. So basically that Bayaki just got burnt to a crisp, didn't get to do anything. That's good. But of course now at the start of the Investigator phase, the fire spreads out of control. Place fire in a space adjacent to a space containing fire. I think the entire board's going to be on fire. Well, let's put a fire over here on this space. We're not too worried about the scarecrow and stuff. And now we got some real issues to deal with. Oh my god, what is this? The sky above flashes and splits open. The Mythos event affects the Investigator in an outdoor space with the highest health. Did I skip the Investigators? Sky above flashes, the Mythos affects the Investigator in an outdoor... There is no outdoor space, no effect. Oh, now it's the Investigator turn. Wow, okay. So here we go. Yeah, that was Ashcan dropping his torch. All right, now we're on to the Investigator phase. The app, luckily, is keeping control of things because I'm losing track of what's going on. Now it's the Investigator turn. Now I'm going to have to do a bit of thinking. And the way to extinguish fire is we have to make an agility check. So Ashcan's going to go first. He has the highest agility. He has an agility of 4, so he's going to be rolling 4 dice, and for every 1 success, he can extinguish a fire in his space or an adjacent space if he moves into it later in his turn. And so we're going to roll 4 dice and hope for some successes. Come on. And he gets 2 successes, so that is excellent. He is able to extinguish 2 bits of fire, so he's going to extinguish the one he's right in. So that was an action to put out the fire. Now, the pickaxe, I wonder, or the pickaxe, the torch, I wonder if he should just leave it there or pick it up by not moving. Or if he moves, he can extinguish fire in one other space. So he has the option to move. So he's done one action, which is extinguish fire. The other action he can do now is he can either move or stay where he is and pick up the pickaxe. But I think he might as well use the ability that he had. He's going to move out into the wilds here, and he will extinguish this fire out here. So that's what he's done. So basically his turn is over. He was able to put out the fire in here, able to put out the fire in this space. And that's it. So now we're over to Mandy. Mandy, I think, is also going to... Oh, man, I don't know. I think Mandy's also going to try the extinguish fire ability with way too much fire on the board. And or does she want to do that? Because she can get to this investigation token. Decisions. I think she's going to move. She's wounded, of course, so she can only move once during turn. 2 spaces to get here. And for her second action, she's going to investigate. So the fire is burning all over the place. This is the little small... It says a small bundle has been left on the riverbank. Twine holding the oiled leather closed with swollen knots. So yeah, let's go ahead and search. She's going to search it as her second action. It says the knots holding the pack closed have been swollen together by mist from the rapids. You attempt to untie the knotted twine. So she needs... Oh, man. She needs to roll her agility. Roll 2 extra dice if you have a bladed weapon. Does she have a... She has no bladed weapon. Ashcan is the one who has the knife. So, well, she's got 3 agility. She's going to try to undo the knots, and we'll see what happens. Come on. 2 successes. Excellent. She is able to undo that. Well, it's just you put in the number of successes you have. You don't need 2. So I just entered 2 and confirm what happens. It is difficult to gain a purchase on the oiled leather, now slick with river spray. Oh, I guess that didn't work then. Continue. And that's it. So she's just fumbled around. 2 successes was not enough to get into the bundle. Unfortunately, now we're once again at the end of the Investigator phase. So, oh man, here we go to the Mythos phase. I'm using the app, of course, off to the side here. The fire spreads out of control. Place fire in a space adjacent to a space containing fire. Well, let's have the fire head up here. We're going to go burn the scarecrow eventually. So the fire moves up there. And continuing on with the Mythos phase. You are suddenly aware of the awful and unstoppable passage of time. Obsessively dwelling on your ultimate mortal fate. Each investigator suffers 2 face-down horror. Willpower negates. Well, isn't that interesting? Willpower, let's do Mandy first. Her willpower is, it is 3, and she has nothing else to pump it up. So 2 face down horror, she gets 3 dice trying to not have the horror. She gets 2 tokens. She's going to spend 2 of her clue tokens. She has so many of them to turn these into successes, which means she suffers no more face down horror. She already has 5. Ashcan Pete's willpower is 4. And does he have any negatives or things that are going to help him? No, he just has the arcane manuscript, which gives him additional die resolving lore tests. This is a willpower test. Come on, Ashcan, don't blow it. Ashcan gets 2 successes. That's all he needs to negate those 2 face down horrors. Continue. Wow, back to the investigator phase. Well, I'm going to reposition the camera a wee bit, and I think that's going to be the playthrough episode for today. We have fire all over the place. And Ashcan dropped his pickaxe, which is not so good. And now that I'm thinking about it, Ashcan could have moved 2 spaces, and he only moved 1. Because he started here, he took out the fire, then he did a move action. He only moved here. He could have moved 1 more space. And so I'm actually going to have him move up here, and he would extinguish this fire. Because he had, oh no, he only had, that's why we did. He only had 2 successes. So he could get rid of this fire, get rid of this fire. But he could move 1 more space. And honestly, it would make more sense for him to move into this spot, even though he couldn't investigate it. So now Mandy and Ashcan are in the same location. I believe that's correct, because he would have put out the fire on a move, 1 space, 2nd space. So that's it. That's the end of what's going on. And I think we can see enough of the board. I won't readjust the camera. So wow, we have the barn blazing. We have this little bundle that we can't seem to get the knots out of. If we can ever get over to this area, this burning area here, we can pick up the Tome of Horrors, and oh, we can't really see that. We can pick up the Tome of Horrors over here, and then there's another sight line down into this corner, which I believe is probably going to be the Sentinel Hill, which I don't even know if we want to go. There's probably a big dark young or something sitting there, or the Dunwich Horror. All right, so leaving off, both Mandy and Ashcan are now wounded. Mandy has 5 face down horror. If she gets 3 more, she's gonna go insane. And Ashcan is doing pretty well now. He only has 3 face down horror of 7, so he gets 4 more face down horror. He goes insane. They both now have no wounds at all on them, but they're both wounded. All right, this is Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition. We're playing Cult of Sentinel Hill. We have fires ablazing, and yeah, I don't know how close we are to doing anything. If we look down to the south here, we have the sawmill with, we can investigate the sawmill. And remember, there's a weapon leaning up against the building, and yeah, I don't know. So anyway, thanks so much for watching along. Thanks to your subscriptions, your comments, your likes. I really appreciate it. This is Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition. We're playing Cult of Sentinel Hill, and I don't know if we're going to win. I have no idea. Like I said, I have not played this particular scenario before, so thanks so much. Join me next time for the continuation of Cult of Sentinel Hill.